Out in the wild, the space between safety and the unknown can disappear in an instant. One minute it's just you, the air, and the open land, and the next, something shifts. A sound you can't place, a shadow that shouldn't be there. Anyone who spent real time in the woods knows that moment, the sudden change in the atmosphere, like the forest is paying attention. Tonight, we'll look at the 7 most disturbing hunting encounters caught on camera, moments that push far past ordinary wildlife, and made even seasoned hunters wonder what else was sharing the woods with them. On November 15, 2020, Finnish YouTuber Oscaril, well known for his frequent hunting trips with a close group of friends, set out to track a bear, a challenge that even experienced hunters know can be unpredictable. But before long, the situation spiraled out of control. His hunting dog, named Taika, wandered dangerously close to the bear, and several missed shots only escalated the tension. Within moments, everything unraveled, leading to this terrifying situation.
Perkele hyökkäs koiran pialle tuo karhu.
After firing several shots and continuing to follow the bear's trail, Oskari suddenly heard distant screams, and they definitely weren't coming from the bear. In that moment, he realized the truth. His shots hadn't landed the way he thought. As he later explained, he had managed to hit the bear in the lung, but the shot wasn't immediately fatal. The bear was far less incapacitated than he'd assumed, and remained one of the most dangerous predators in the forest. It ran roughly 100 meters before stopping, still very much alive, and still a threat. That meant that his dog was in immediate danger, especially his dog, who was now alarmingly close to the bear and within striking distance.
Koiralla on takajalka oikein ihan paskana.
But that's when it hit him hard. The screams weren't random at all. They were coming from his own dog. In that instant, everything became terrifyingly clear. His dog was trapped directly beneath the bear. It was a horrifying sight, and Oskari knew he had only seconds to act. With no time to hesitate, he took aim and fired again. This time, the shot connected, and he was finally able to bring the bear down and pull his dog out. However, he would soon realize that it was almost too late.
Aja vaan sinne. Ei oo vielä.
Missä on?
Se on tuolla.
A veterinarian later confirmed that the dog's leg had been severely damaged by the bear's bite, not by a bullet. Fortunately, the hunter stayed calm, acted quickly, and handled the situation professionally under extreme pressure, ultimately saving his dog's life. Despite surviving, the dog's injuries were too severe, and the leg had to be removed. The dog went on to live a full life on 3 legs, but sadly, it was never able to join Oskari on another hunt again. In August 2024, Finnish YouTuber Otoko had an alarmingly close encounter with a bear while out in the forest with his dog. The outing was meant to be a mix of exercise and responsible bear harvesting, part of ongoing population management efforts. However, he had no idea that the day was about to take a drastic turn for the worse, and that several unwelcome surprises were waiting for him in the woods.
Onneksi olkoon kaatajalle. Onneksi olkoon. Hyvä pojat, hyvä.
After successfully harvesting 2 bears earlier that day, Otoko and his dog continued deeper into the forest in search of the next one. The terrain grew thicker, the visibility worse, and the signs of bear activity more frequent. Both experience and instinct told him that the next encounter wouldn't be as straightforward as the previous ones. Something felt off, an unsettling quiet settling over the woods, broken only by the distant rustling of underbrush. It was already becoming clear that this time things wouldn't go nearly as smoothly as planned, and that some very real dangers were waiting for them just ahead.
Huhhuh, moro!
Fortunately, he managed to scare the bear off at the very last moment. The situation could have ended far worse if not for his quick thinking, survival instincts, and the sheer force of his reaction. By raising his posture, shouting with authority, and making himself appear as threatening as possible, he convinced the bear to back away, just seconds before things could have taken a turn for the worse. In December 2023, a YouTuber and hunter unexpectedly found himself face to face with a moose he had no intention of hunting. At first, everything seemed harmless. His dog closely followed the massive animal, but just seconds later, this happened.
Hey. Shit, that won't matter. That won't matter.
Around 18 years ago, on March 14, 2007, footage surfaced, showing a group of hunters participating in what appeared to be an expensive paid safari costing thousands of dollars for the purpose of hunting wildlife in the desert. The video remains highly debated, with many hunters distancing themselves from it, arguing that such hunts give the entire sport a bad reputation. But on this particular day, nature had its own plans. One lion, pushed to its limit, finally decided it had enough. The hunter ultimately survived the encounter, but the footage stands as a reminder that nothing in nature is guaranteed to go smoothly. Wildlife is unpredictable, powerful, and never fully under human control, no matter how prepared you think you are. On October 22nd, 2025, a hunter had a terrifyingly close encounter with a moose after his dog accidentally led the massive animal straight toward him, and in that moment, the hunter realized there was no turning back. On November 22nd, 2022, what was supposed to be a calm and routine afternoon hunt quickly turned into one of the most dangerous situations a hunter and his young son had ever faced. They had settled into a ground blind overlooking a quiet field, hoping for a chance at a deer and enjoying the peaceful evening together. 3 does drifted into the open just ahead of them, close, relaxed, and unaware of anything unusual. Everything seemed normal. But beyond the property line, 2 unknown men had also spotted the deer, and they were about to make a decision that would nearly cost 2 innocent people their lives.
I'm gonna wait and see if they take a shot.
Better be recording this whole thing.
And these 2 dudes are fixing to be trespassers. They're sneaking up on our deer, trying to take a shot of the 3 deer that are right in front of us.
They better not.
You be still. You be still.
Look at these trespassers.
You mother. You stay here.
Hey! You better run, you piece of crap! Yeah, that's what I thought. Run, you little Hey! You poaching SOB! Get over here!
2 guys. That's a public hunting area. 2 guys almost just shocked Houston and I. We're sitting in a blind on top of this hill right here. And those 3 does standing in front of us, they literally walked across the first gate, which put them on the private property. The second gate is my gate. They leaned on that gate right there and took a shot at our deer in our field. I came out yelling, not nice words, not in a nice manner.
As the hunter quietly filmed the deer, he suddenly noticed 2 figures moving toward them from the edge of the public area. Before he could fully process what was happening, the men leaned directly against the property gate, a gate marking the boundary between public land, a neighbor's strip of private land, and the field where he and his son were sitting. Then it happened. A shot tore across the field. The bullet's path passed only 10 to 15 yards from the blind, frighteningly close. The men had actually fired toward the deer the father and son were watching, across land they had no right to be on, in the direction of people they clearly hadn't bothered to identify. The hunter called park rangers and law enforcement immediately, knowing just how close disaster had come.
Hey, Cole's on his way.
Well, I'm fixing to get in my truck and drive around there. Dude, I'm not kidding you when I say those deer were 10 yards from me when they shot out. Well, it's been a couple hours. I've had a little time to calm down. Let's just say that was the closest I've ever came to getting shot, including the 14 years I was in law enforcement. That was an incredibly stupid, dangerous event that took place. I never dreamed those 2 guys would actually shoot at a deer on our property. I didn't think they were actually going to do it. The 3 does moved across from right to left across in front of us, and as soon as they get just barely out of the frame, barely past us, like 10, 15 yards past where we were sitting, was when that guy shot.
Hours later, once the shock had begun to fade, The hunter explained that despite spending 14 years in law enforcement, he had never come that close to being shot before. The realization that his son had been only yards away from the bullet's path shook him deeply. Park rangers arrived, and with the evidence on video and the men's own admissions, charges were initiated. What the hunter emphasized afterward was simple. This wasn't hunting, it was trespassing, poaching, and reckless endangerment. On November 27, 2024, YouTuber Homeschool Hunter captured one of the most frustrating encounters a hunter can face, an outright case of hunter harassment on public land. What was meant to be his daughter's very first bow hunt in South Dakota quickly turned into a tense confrontation that no newcomer to hunting should ever have to witness. The incident took place on walk-in land, a publicly accessible area specifically designated for anyone with a valid license. Yet as they made their way in before dawn, the hunter noticed something unusual, a cellular trail camera aimed directly at the only entrance, its infrared lights flashing as they passed. Whoever owned the camera knew exactly when they arrived.
And by the way, this is my daughter's first ever bow hunt for deer. And this is public hunting land in South Dakota. It's on a land called walk-in land, which is open to public hunting. And this guy had a motion sensing cell phone trail camera guarding the only entrance of this public hunting land. And I could see his camera going off early in the morning when we walked in, so he knew we were there.
You didn't see anything sitting here. No, there. Tree stand up there.
This is hunter harassment.
No, it isn't. I'm checking my camera because it's getting low.
Okay.
You're harassment because you come in here and are my hunting area.
This is not your hunting area. This is public land. What are you talking
Well,
about?
this ain't public land. This is private.
This is
but it's
walk-in land.
Walk-in now.
It's walk-in land.
You're not teaching a young hunter very good etiquette.
You
There's
are
someone
hunter
else's
harassing.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you
my
can't come up
camera's
here.
getting low on battery.
I'm sitting next to it. It doesn't mean you
And I
can
need
come
to
up and
change it.
check it. Go ahead and change it. Hop out of here.
I will.
Go ahead.
I will.
Go
I
ahead.
will.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Not very good at hunter etiquette. I've been
Exactly.
hunting
You're
for-
up here talking with full voice, and
I
you're
don't
complaining
give
about
a-
my hunter etiquette. I'm hunting.
I don't care.
Well, I'm glad.
I've been hunting for so many years. Everybody's doing this to me all the time.
I get it. Well, now it's your turn, I guess, because just because other people do it to you doesn't mean you should do it to other people.
Well, then show a little etiquette. This is hunter etiquette. Look at the camera.
I can
right
sit
there.
here.
You want me to take pictures of that? I'll take
Yeah,
pictures of
take-
you too.
Go ahead. Doesn't bother me. I'm not doing anything illegal. You're the one who's hunter harassing.
No, I'm not. This is my camera. It was.
You
up-
should
it's
know
been
that
up
I'm
here since
hunting here
April.
then. You should know that I'm up here hunting then. I saw it going
No.
off. You knew I was here.
No,
Yes, you did. I saw the infrared going off in the dark this morning. You know I was here.
In the end, the incident became more than just an argument caught on camera. It became a reminder of how fragile a hunting experience can be when respect breaks down. What should have been a memorable first hunt for his daughter was overshadowed by a confrontation that never should have happened in the first place. Public land belongs to everyone who uses it legally, and no trail camera, tree stand, or self-declared spot gives anyone ownership over it. For new hunters, especially young ones, experiences like this can shape how they see the outdoors for years to come. While Homeschool Hunter handled the situation calmly and responsibly, the encounter stands as a clear example of why hunter etiquette, mutual respect, and an understanding of public land rules matter more than ever. In September 2022, a group of hunters experienced one of the most aggressive and dangerous harassment incidents they had ever faced during a routine, fully legal early morning goose hunt. They had permission from the farmer, were positioned exactly where they were allowed to be, and had set up well before daylight, everything done by the book. But as soon as the first flock of birds circled the field, the peaceful hunt took a sudden turn.
How many we get?
You got 6 right there. That was a necessary shot call.
Oh yeah, every time.
So group 25 came through, and they're circling once or twice. Made a big bank over the road, and then they looked like they were gonna land, but they didn't want fully to commit. So I said, we ended up shooting 7. So it's a good start.
Do we want to push those? Hold on, I got it. Unload your gun. Yeah.
This is
say anything. Not a word. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about shooting. We're not shooting. Yeah,
We're not confiscating our birds.
We heard what she said.
What?
What'd she say?
We're not confiscating our birds.
As flocks continued to move overhead, the man increased his interference. He timed his yelling deliberately as birds approached, waving his arms and shouting toward the field to spook the geese. What had started as frustration turned into targeted harassment, a repeated intentional attempt to sabotage a lawful hunt.
Pretty sure it's a pole. Are you serious?
You shoot birds with birdshot, and then he said we got AR-15s.
We're using AR-15s. Yeah, that's what he said. We're using
And
AR-15s.
we were shooting them at 4:30 this morning.
Yeah.
But I don't know
You
about
can't
you.
even see it.
If we could get them to decoy.
We weren't even here at 4:30. No. You were with us. We weren't even here at 4:30.
Are you kidding?
I didn't get here till like sunrise.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to the field at 5 o'clock. Yeah. You can't even make some of this stuff. My guy literally said we had AR-15s.
That's insane.
He's so flustered, he went and checked the mail, and it's Sunday.
Law enforcement was contacted, and officers arrived on scene. The hunters calmly presented the recordings, their written permission from the farmer, and proof of legal shooting times. The officers quickly determined that the hunters were entirely in the right. Their shots were lawful, their setup was legal, and they posed no danger to any homes or property. Meanwhile, the landowner's claims, including accusing them of shooting before sunrise or firing toward his house, were disproven by the footage. What remained undeniable was this: the hunters had been fully legal, and the man's actions amounted to harassment, intimidation, and straight-up threatening behavior. On February 12th, 2015, what began as a careful early morning elephant tracking mission took a sudden and dangerous turn. The trackers had been following fresh sign through the bush, moving quietly along a dry riverbed to stay hidden. But as they edged closer to the herd, everything changed.
Decide to back off. Here he comes.
Hey! 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 Hey!
The rest of the herd charge. Not wanting to shoot in self-defense, we get out of there. And use the riverbed to get some open ground between us and the elephant. The herd don't press on with the charge, but mill around, trumpeting, making noise. When everything eventually goes quiet, we move in to see what happened.
The morning air was still when the elephant suddenly heard them approaching. Curious and showing clear signs of aggression, he stepped out from among the herd to investigate. The hunters froze, standing fully exposed in the open, while the elephant swayed his head, listening, testing the air, inching closer with every step. Then the situation escalated rapidly. With tension rising and nowhere to hide, the call was made to slowly back off. But the elephant reacted instantly, rushing toward them with a sudden burst of speed, and in moments, the rest of the herd joined in, surging forward in a powerful, chaotic mass. Not wanting to fire in self-defense unless absolutely necessary, the hunters sprinted out of the open and dropped back into the riverbed, using the terrain to put distance between themselves and the charging elephants. The herd didn't continue the full charge, but stayed nearby, trumpeting, milling around, and making it clear they weren't ready to let the intruders advance. Around 6 years ago, a Reddit user named Dark10 shared a disturbing piece of lost footage from a leopard hunt that went terribly wrong, footage showing a hunter who clearly underestimated the situation he was stepping into.
Tie it up.
A couple of years ago, a group of Russian hunters met up for one of their regular outings. One of them stayed back, filming safely from the car, while another stepped out to take what should have been a clean, controlled shot at a moose. But the shot missed, badly, and the moose did not take it lightly. What was meant to be a routine hunting session suddenly escalated into something far more dangerous.
Блять, стреляйте, ёбаный в рот!
On June 28, 2023, a hunter set out on a guided safari, aiming to take on one of Africa's most formidable animals, the Cape buffalo. It was supposed to be a controlled, well-planned hunt, something the team had prepared for carefully. But what they didn't realize was that Cape buffalo are notorious for turning the tables in an instant. And before long, the situation would spiral into something far more dangerous and horrifying than anyone on that safari ever expected.
Are you okay? You're okay. It's a fast shot. It's very long.
Around a year ago, two hunting partners were out on one of their routine trips when they suddenly heard something that stopped them in their tracks, an odd, unsettling sound that resembled a distress signal. Despite years of experience in the woods, neither of them had ever heard anything like it before.
They gotta pick up that sound. Yeah.
On April 2nd, 2023, hunter Fred Eichler uploaded footage of two men traveling down a river by boat when they suddenly spotted two bear cubs alone on the bank, no mother in sight. And the moment they saw those cubs, they knew instantly they were about to be in serious trouble.
Let's go. Get out of here.
Did you get her?
No, I shot right in front of her.
Did you get that?
Did you get that? I would have had to shoot her on the next one.
Holy! Oh! I was pissed.
I knew it was going to happen when they didn't.
When those cubs didn't go.
Luckily, the warning shot was enough to make the mother back off, but the situation could have ended far, far worse. Around 5 years ago, a hunter posted eerie footage capturing strange sounds he kept hearing late at night, usually between midnight and 3 a.m. He explained that he lives on a remote property in the Pacific Northwest of Canada and that these unsettling noises echo through the forest almost every night. What he recorded left many viewers wondering what exactly was out there in the darkness. To this day, people still speculate in the comments about what the sounds could be. While many believe it's simply a pack of coyotes, others suspect something far more unsettling, likening the noises to chilling screams echoing through the night. On January 23, 2024, a hunter reported hearing a pileated woodpecker giving its alarm call, something that usually means a predator is nearby. Moments later, he began hearing strange, unfamiliar noises echoing through the woods. He started recording immediately. According to him, it didn't sound like a lynx, a fox, or any animal he recognized. Instead, the calls were sharp, unsettling, and unlike anything he had ever heard in the area.
What the fuck was that? I heard some shit there.
12 years ago, on January 15th, 2013, a hunter was deep in a snowy forest searching for game when he suddenly heard those unsettling, eerie noises echoing through the trees.
Oh, where'd it come from? We're in the middle of nowhere.
All around us.
Well, call me nuts, but I reckon that came from up there. But, well, unless the trees backed it down and... Oh, it's cold. Unless the trees made it echo, I don't know. I've never heard a sound like that before.
I don't like it.
It did have an element of eerie, isn't it? Yeah.
While many people joked about the sounds in the comments, others shared far more unsettling experiences. One person wrote, "I've heard something similar to that here in Finland, Ylitornio, but the sound was heard just once. It sounded like it came from the sky. And there's no mines, no nothing around here that could possibly make that sound. That was months ago though. Scary." In October 2019, a hunter deep in a Canadian forest recorded chilling screams unlike anything he had ever heard before. The sound was so strange and so unsettling that many people quickly began speculating in the comments, with some even suggesting Bigfoot. On January 21st, 2020, on the channel Trailing the Hunter's Moon, Hunter Blake Barnett found himself in a life-threatening situation. After several attempts to avoid the bear and scare it off, the black bear suddenly charged straight at him.
Hey, bear. And when we got up to move away from the bears, when the bear did catch our movement, as soon as he saw us, his behavior and demeanor had changed. This bear just looked at us different. And we started to back out. Aaron wolfed at him and kicked dirt at him and threw his arms up in the air. This bear squared up to us straight up. His hair stood up on his back.
With no time left and no other option, Blake was forced to shoot in order to protect not only himself, but also his guide and cameraman. It was one of those difficult, split-second decisions hunters sometimes find themselves faced with in the wild. A few months ago, a hunter stepped into his backyard to take out the trash when he heard something unnerving coming from the alley behind his fence. It wasn't an animal call he recognized, more like an echoing mix of moaning and distant yelling, drifting through the darkness. The sound was so strange and distorted that he had to record it, unsure whether it was a creature, a person, or something far more unsettling.
Yo, what the fuck? Yo, what the hell? Yo, it just stopped. Just f***ing stopped. What the f***?
On October 14th, 2025, a hunter uploaded footage of himself setting up a trail camera near Nordegg, Alberta, Canada. While scouting an area in the wilderness, he stumbled upon a large structure made of limbs and branches. He set up his camera, and hours later, back at camp, a shocking image was sent straight to his phone. Then, just hours later, the trail camera triggered and sent video footage straight to his phone. On October 17, 2020, a Finnish moose hunt took a horrifying turn when the family's youngest daughter joined one of her relatives for what was supposed to be a routine outing. What happened next was something none of them could have prepared for. A hunter and his professional hunter companion tracked a wounded leopard in Tanzania, but when they finally came face to face with it, they were met with an unexpected and shocking surprise. Around 5 years ago, a hunter in Switzerland recorded something truly unsettling deep in a forest that, according to him, has been fox-free ever since an incident years earlier wiped them out. At around midnight, he began hearing chilling screams echoing through the trees, high-pitched, sharp, and disturbingly similar to the sound of children crying out. Alone in the middle of the forest, with no foxes or known wildlife capable of making that noise, the experience became one of the most terrifying encounters he had ever faced. A while back, someone staying in the remote mountain village of Hatoji, near Okayama, Japan, shared a deeply unsettling experience. The village is nearly empty, quiet, isolated, and surrounded by dense forest. But on their very first night, that silence was shattered. Right after sunset, a strange roaring sound began echoing out of the woods. It lasted for a minute or two, stopped, then returned again, and again, all night long. Along with the deep roars were sharp, piercing screeches, so loud and sudden they sounded like they were coming from two different creatures moving through the forest. With barely any people in the area and nothing but darkness surrounding the village, the noises felt uncomfortably close. The person knew the region had wild boar, but even that didn't seem right. Boar didn't normally scream like that, and they certainly didn't roar for hours through the night.